Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Blackridge Asset Management is a separate and independent entity from Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. And now, Today with Denny, here's Denny Artachi.
Good morning. Welcome to Today with Denny, where anything can be eaten at this radio station, apparently. And Phil, I give you credit, brother. I want to party with you, man. I bet you can do 5 tequila shots in a row and not bat an eyelash. Yeah. So, folks, Phil just consumed 4 COVID tortilla chips. What the hell were they flavored with? Cayenne, strychnine, what is it? Haunted ghost pepper. So you get this, folks, at Costco, and if you want to hurt yourself, I would buy these chips. They're pretty good party flavors, right? Chip. Just put them out on a party and say they're just Doritos, folks. Don't worry about it, and just watch and see. Oh, here they are. The name is Pacquiao. It's like the boxer Pacquiao. Is that who made these chips? No. Okay, we're bringing the heat because it hurts so good. Do you dare? That's what it says.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say on the air what this says at the end here, how they describe it.
Where?
See? FREA. Can I say that on the air? What? I don't know. This is a PG station. Freaking hot, it says.
Oh, yeah, you can say freaking hot.
All right. Sorry, folks. I don't mean to offend you here, but
you didn't use the 4-letter word.
These chips were pretty interesting because Phil actually started turning red. He did. Yeah. Hey, thanks, man. You survived. You want any parting shots before you get on with your day?
He's got to go recoup.
So on this station, Dave served ostrich jerky, of course, donuts, alligator, and we've had oatmeal smoothie, which Sergeant Basio still to this day said was the most disgusting thing he's ever drank in his life.
Yeah, agreed.
So you're not going to get me to eat anything here, all right?
He's got a show to do. I got to keep Denny alive. You're not touching those. I'm not letting you.
I got to remember that. Seriously, they're that hot, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try it. So don't.
The 1-chip challenge is worse.
Okay.
There's something if you Google 1-chip challenge,
and that would be up there.
That's like 10 times worse than that. That's like literally people have. If you watch YouTube videos for it, people have literally passed out from the 1-chip challenge.
But what do they put in them? Just habanero.
He'll tell you. Wait, hold on. Let me turn your mic on.
Oh, you know about the 1-chip challenge?
Oh, I know all about this stuff.
Yeah.
What it is, it's a Carolina Reaper pepper, which is the hottest pepper you can get in the market right now. And so what happens is it's hotter than that. And you can and the chips about that big. I would say about.
Are they hotter than those habaneros in Publix? Because those are pretty hot.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Really?
Yes.
Nothing. It's got nothing on those.
Yes.
Really?
Habanero is like kids play compared to that 1-chip challenge. Yeah.
Why do people do this to themselves? Is it like an ego thing? Like I ate it and survived?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do they actually get pleasure of singeing their mouth?
Singeing the mouth.
Because when you eat something like this, that's exactly what happens within like 3 seconds. At least for me, I guess I'm what do they call a wuss when it comes to that hot stuff?
I know Evan kept on saying to me when I was doing the ghost pepper thing there, he goes, "Oh, be a man, eat some more." Right. But he won't even eat one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope.
So he's smart. He's the guy who just tells people,
"Mama didn't raise no fool."
Did you? Were you the one that gave bobby pins to kids and told them to put them in the outlets growing up?
Yes.
Just to see what it would look like?
Yes, that was me.
All right, so now he's a man of God, so he doesn't do that stuff anymore.
Evan goes, "Yeah, go put your tongue up to the electrical outlet." Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Pretend it's an icicle or something.
I like the top 10 of the barbecue. I thought was pretty good. Where do you come up with these things?
I just write them.
That's it?
Yeah.
You know what? I have a job for you. How about a top 10 list for Denny?
Yeah.
For next Thursday. Come up with it, and
I'm not off next Thursday.
That's okay. For next time you're here, on a Thursday, make a top 10 list of the top 10 reasons why
top 10 mafia financial. I've done that on here.
No, top 10 reasons why Denny Artachi plays a Fender Stratocaster.
Oh my goodness.
You're really narrowing it down.
He is. I know. He could have
like a top 3 list there. Yeah, that's what that is. No, I do the top 10. I do that on my YouTube show also. So
you guys have a lot of fun. I keep telling you that you need to pee in the cup because you can't naturally. You guys cannot naturally come up with all this stuff.
Well,
how do you do it?
My humor is very similar to David Letterman, and I grew up in admiring David Letterman, wanted to be David Letterman, and my YouTube show is even formatted after David Letterman. So
you kind of talk like him too.
Anyways,
see what I mean?
Quit stealing this show. This is Denny's show, for God's sake.
No, it's okay because look, I'm the rookie in radio, and
you're a pro now. You've been on for how many months?
I don't know. It's been 4 or 5. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Months?
Yeah.
I don't know. They haven't kicked me out yet, but
how long have you been doing this, Evan?
A long time.
Okay,
yeah. Too long.
I've been doing it since I was 16, and I'm 47.
Really?
Well, I'm 61. Denny's only 49. So
right, minus whatever. I like it. I like interviewing different walks of life. I like talking about other things, and I like hearing guys like you that are naturally twisted.
I'm naturally twisted.
You just nailed it. You just nailed it.
So he probably had a microphone when he was a kid.
I did.
You did, right?
I did. I had a little tape player. I'm being serious. I actually went to Radio Shack when they were still around and bought a mixer.
Yeah.
An audio mixer,
so you always wanted to do this?
And I used to do radio shows. We were talking about this morning. I used to do a thing called WPDB, which was my initials. And I used to sit there and did a thing called Color Sounds. I used to introduce songs and all that.
I'm laughing at the naturally twisted. That's the best one.
I used to do things like that all the time, and I knew by the time I was 10, I wanted to do radio. So that was it.
Now, when you do that, they put you in a padded cell with no sleeves on. You know, when you practice a radio show by yourself.
My wife doesn't understand. Trust me.
By the way, I know you're going to ask me this sooner or later.
What?
I got 7 hours sleep last night.
Oh,
just
you
so
did?
You know.
Holy
I wanted
crap.
to beat you to the punch this morning.
The over-under, I was going to go with 5.
No, I got 7. I went to bed at 8 and woke up at 8.
Yeah, but your eyes are red today.
They are, because I've been rubbing my eyes a lot.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. I know it wasn't for some ganji, because that's definitely not your thing.
No.
And it's okay if you do ganji. I don't do it anymore because it was
a prior life.
I don't remember why I don't. Oh, that's why, because I can't remember when I do it. You know?
There you go.
He just does brownies now.
Yeah, it makes you. That stuff makes you paranoid too. You could go to Publix in the deli and the guy chopping meat. I know he's an undercover guy. He's just playing the part of a meat chopper. He's gonna bust me, man, because you know in this day and age, we had Sergeant Basio on the show.
Yeah.
It's still illegal, folks. You can't be running around with J's and stuff. You could go to jail.
Oh yeah, they come back from Colorado with this stuff, and they actually take it away from them and go, no, you can't have it.
Exactly.
So,
well, they said, well, I read somewhere. You read where? You read where that it's legal?
Yeah.
It's illegal. You can go. I'm sorry, folks, but being in a jail doesn't go with my plans for life. You know, being locked up with a bunch of men.
What does that mean, being locked up with a bunch of men?
What do you think it means? And then they'll ask me.
Don't go there. This is a family show.
Right. Yeah. Well, if that happens, you have more to worry about than Dorito chips. I'll tell you that. So, it's just not worth it to me. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe if I thought I could successfully rob banks, I would do it. But because, I like money, right? But it's not worth it.
No.
I would be the worst bank robber there is. I'd leave my cell phone.
I could do it great on Grand Theft Auto, the video game. But
you're great on that.
Oh, yeah. But not real life. Yeah.
That's why I always joke about when they say, what were you thinking, Mr. Robber? Well, obviously they were thinking they could get away with it. That's why they did it. They weren't thinking, I'm going to get up and do something that's going to put me in jail for the next 10 years.
You got to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
Yeah, the show needs to take a break. The show needs to cool down.
Sorry, folks. Being sober has its bad points, and this is one of them.
We'll be right back.
All right, we are back on Today with Denny. We got to have Phil in here more. I have to bribe him. He's just a funny guy.
Whatever you want, I'll make it happen.
I mean, I think we have my great friend Mike Lomas on the line. Mike, are you there?
I am.
Awesome. So listen, I guess we saved the best for last, huh, Mike? I've had Glenn on the show. I've had Paul Meeks. I've had John Thur. So how are you today, by the way?
I am the best ever.
Now, rumor has it, I heard from you, of course, that you're the brains behind Peak and Independent Solutions. Are you going to take the credit for this?
Everything, yes.
Yeah, you're the guy, right?
That's right. That's right. Nothing gets done unless it's me. So,
and you unapologetically take the credit for it.
Yes, that's right. That's right. If you surround yourself with good people, the thing to do is to make sure you take credit for all their accomplishments. So
I think Sue Ryan thinks she runs everything up in Buffalo, that you guys would be nothing without her. Is that true?
That is really the truth. Yeah.
It is the truth, isn't it?
That's the way it is in every operation. The women run it and the men take credit for it.
Folks, it's so true. Peak Brokerage Services is run by women. Between Sue, Regina, Kelsey, I mean, they're all beautiful, smart, and we listen to whatever the hell they say to us. And that's why it's so successful.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, every organization, right? You got the women running the White House now, right? Joe doesn't know he's there, so you've got the vice president she's taken over. Although at some point, he would hope that she would show up and instead of spending her days with the rappers, she should be down at the border checking that out. But we'll see.
Dude, you did not go from Sue Ryan to Kamala Harris. Did you just do that? Is that what you did?
Well, I had to do a 360, right? 180, I guess.
So, folks, most of you listening have no idea who Mike Lomas is. So let me explain a little bit. Mike Lomas was an advisor way back, I don't know, in the 90s or so, and he himself has a very successful radio show, The Financial Guys, in Western New York. They are the guys to listen to on. Now, they're more political than I am because they're gutsy. I mean, I'm unapologetically a conservative Republican, but Mike and Glenn have bulletproof vests and plenty of guns around them when they walk in the streets. I don't want to do that.
Well, so you know where we fit is we're disgusted with the Democrat Party and about half of the Republican Party, right? So
right, exactly.
There's about 25% of the conservatives still left out there that care about my tax money, but that's about it.
Mike, it's pretty scary when only a quarter of the populace has their brains screwed on right. What do we do about that?
I don't know. I mean, you know what you do? You keep fighting. That's what I can tell people. You continue to fight, continue to educate. That's where the Republican Party loses. You know, they get into office and they say, Mike, if you give me money, I'm going to run and I'm going to be really conservative and I'm going to promise I'm going to protect your tax dollars. And then they get in and their big government is better than the other big government. So got to just keep fighting. You know where you win? You win on local levels. That's where you got to continue.
I think so,
to fight.
yeah. But look, here's the thing.
School boards, that type of stuff.
Like you said it, look, Republican Party has their issues too. There is no perfect party. They're nuts too. They're just more reasonable when it comes to fiscal policies. They don't want to give the money away.
Well,
some of them, yes.
About half of them, right? About half of them are
fiscally
conservative and fighting, but the other half they're getting their pensions too. Mitt Romney's made out pretty well by big government.
Yes, but who's that one cuckoo lady? What's her name? Green? They should throw cold water on her or something because she.
Yeah. You just got to hope. You know, you're down in South Florida, and I go back and forth, New York and South Florida, and I do see a positive trend, and the trend is that the people are voting with their feet. The misconception, by the way, is that all these New Yorkers that are liberal are moving down to Florida. That's not the truth.
No,
the majority of the people that are moving to Florida are leaving New York, and they want freedom. They want smaller government. And they're voting that way. So Florida's actually turning more red, which is a good thing.
Listen, we have such a great governor here. What a difference, okay? He gets it. He understands business. He doesn't want my God, you know, I've stopped watching the news because it drives me crazy. But I was kind of watching last night, and it was interesting, the narratives. The CNN focuses on Trump, of course, and his trials coming up and things like that. Fox talks about, well, Fauci lied about the virus, and we live in two parallel universes. And I was hoping that there would be something in the middle that says, hey, folks, this is the Common Sense Network. And let me tell you what we're going to talk about today. But they probably wouldn't get too many ratings, would they? They kind of, you have to be extreme.
The far left doesn't. I mean, certainly their ratings. I mean, CNN, I mean, there's literally, and this is a true story, more people listen to my radio show in New York than they watch CNN across the country, and that's not a lie. The only way they survive is because they're left on in airports, and somehow that gets mixed into their ratings. That's it. But the ratings are awful. And Fox is sort of a watered down version of that a little bit now too, right? So
right, yeah.
Social media is the shame of it is they've taken over the country, and we've let them do that. We continue to let them do that, which is a shame.
I saw Fauci on TV. Holy, I can't say that on this station. This guy looks broken down. He can't even answer questions like, "Hey, didn't you say?" Well, no, I didn't. And then he takes it back. He doesn't know that the possibility that this COVID virus came out of that lab. It didn't dawn upon him. There's no remote possibility at all. I'm sorry, folks.
For sure, it was bats are snacks.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and that was it. And now all of a sudden, well, maybe Donald Trump was right again. When Donald talked about the swamp, and he was right about the swamp, but I think the misconception is it's the politicians themselves that are the swamp.
Yes.
And it's not. It's people like Fauci who, Biden's going to come and go from office. Trump's going to come and go from office. Obama's going to come and go from office. But Fauci stays there for 40 years and continues to make millions of dollars and gets grant after grant after grant. They have no idea where the money's going, right? No idea. They say, I heard him in an interview the other day. He said he was being questioned, and they said, "Do you trust China?" He goes, "Well, yeah, I have no reason not to." Like, really, I can think of about 100 million reasons not to trust them. Why are we giving them money? And he says, "Well, I think the scientists are honest." Oh, you think the Communist Party isn't gonna manipulate the scientists' data and numbers? No, we are giving them money, and it's sad. And that is the swamp right there. It's these people like Fauci who have been in office for 40 years. They're there forever. They're there through all different types of administrations. The biggest battle that the Trump administration lost is their communication on COVID. I mean, they just got frontline COVID doctors were in Washington begging, please let me talk, next to Fauci about what we're finding and what we're seeing. And the only thing that Trump administration had was Fauci, and there was a scare, and they lost the battle of that big time.
I mean, how does a guy like that keep his job? If he was an employee of yours, you would have fired him years ago. He's been wrong on many things, right? And I know people are going to say, well, this is something new. You don't know. But if you don't know, don't say like you do know. Say, I don't know.
Scare everybody, right? That's right. That's right. I mean, they were convinced. If you look at the average COVID model, it was off something like 96%. I mean, that's unbelievable, right? I mean, if you and I were off 96% in our investment portfolio constantly, right? Yeah. And then the scare tactics of nobody, the truth is that these face diapers did not work. They did not do one thing except for divide people and destroy businesses across the country. Now, in the beginning, you could say, well, we didn't know. As you point out, we didn't know. But after a month or two, we did know. We started to get data from places like Sweden that didn't mask up, and their numbers were no different than everybody that did mask up. In fact, there was a study up in New York by the communist governor up there, Andrew Cuomo, and he said, I'm shocked. 76% of people that got COVID actually hid in their house and the only time they went out, they wore their mask all the time. Less than 2% of people that got COVID were the ones that just went out and lived their lives. Now, you don't need to be Einstein to figure out that hiding from the flu and masking up didn't work. In fact, the studies are showing that it made it much worse. And we had frontline COVID doctors on our show talking about how your immune system is built. And if you think you're going to hide from stuff and you think you're going to put a face diaper on and you think that's going to be healthy, in the long term, it's not going to be. And we have all those numbers. We had
you actually had
doctors on our show.
You had qualified guests.
Yeah. Break. Sorry.
Frontline. No. It's true because look, folks, you should take COVID seriously. You should protect yourself. Of course, we're not saying that it's a total hoax. We're just questioning, like no one questioned Fauci, like he was the emperor or something. And I still see people, Mike, outdoors with nobody within 100 feet of them wearing a mask.
I feel bad for them.
I do too. They drive in their car. There's nobody else in the car, and they're wearing a mask.
Yep.
So that's
like it's going to come through the vents and like strangle them. Right?
Exactly. Hey, maybe they wear a mask to keep advisors like us away from them. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's proof in this, and that there's people out there that they were introverts, did not want to come out of their shell. And this was a perfect reason for them to sort of hide, right? I mean, and that's a true story of people that, aren't necessarily afraid of the virus. They're afraid of people. And this is a great opportunity for them to sort of hide back in their shell and now say, hey, you should be doing that too. Not good. Not good for your mental state. Suicides are up. Drug overdoses are up. And I continue to say, when people will say to me, well, you're not taking the virus seriously and people are going to die because of this. And I'll say, well, if you're putting those deaths on me, why don't I put the suicides and the drug overdoses on you? Right? Those are you. That's you. If you're telling me that we shouldn't respond in a different way. Right. So, we've been calling it COVID in the box, and you can't look at COVID in a box. You can't say, oh, it's just COVID. If you're going to tell people you got to stay in your house for 4 months, there's going to be a negative to that. The negative is depression, suicides, and drug overdose, alcoholism way up, right? You got to look at all that.
Yeah, I think the first 30 days, or back in March of 2020, me and Jim Beam got to know each other for about 30 days, and it was just so. and then I got out of my own way because I'm like, whoa, this is because it is depressing. When you fear and stress kills more people than anything else. And we again, I think common sense has just gone out the window on so many levels. That's what's killing
it's so
people.
True. It's funny. I'm watching some of the hockey playoffs. Growing up in Buffalo, New York, hockey's a big sport up there. And what's amazing to me is you've got coaches wearing face diapers on the bench until they actually talk to the players, then they pull it down. Now, I don't know.
Mike, I love that face diaper. Where'd you get that from?
That's the new term. Everybody in South Florida, please start calling them face diapers because it just brings a whole new different meaning to not having them on. But
listen, Mike, we have to take a break, but could you please stay on? I want you to talk about independent solutions, if you don't mind.
We'll talk about money management.
We're gonna take a minute break, Evan. Okay, Mike, hang in there. I want you back on here to talk about independent solutions. All right, we are back with my good friend Mike Lomas. And Mike, I want you to talk about, folks, I'm so blessed to be part of not only Peak Brokerage Services, but Independent Solutions. We have rock stars on the committee. But Mike, talk about Independent Solutions, how you founded it, and what you guys are all working on. And gals, of course, what you're working on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, 20-something years ago when I started in the business, I started out at a company called Payne Weber, which is no longer around. They've been acquired. But, in the business years ago, embracing technology meant you would try to find a firm that had the most amount of options available to somebody, right? So you'd look at one platform and say, well, that company has, let's say, 100 different tools, and this company only has 50, so I'm going to go to that company with 100. And then sure enough, some other company a few years later would have 150 and you'd move over there, right? Technology has been the ultimate equalizer. And when you have the ability like we do to have a registered investment advisory firm, and we can clear through multiple companies like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Ameritrade, right? Those are some of the largest toolboxes in the world. And we can really put together independent models and create an all-star team. And that's what we're ultimately trying to do is literally put together a team where we're continuously focused on trying to find the tools out there that best suit our clients' needs. And then as fiduciaries, we're always monitoring that. So if it's not doing a good job, we got to make changes. We got to adapt with it. But it allows us an independent chassis where we can do as many trades as we want. And there's not ticket charges inside those where we're getting charged or charging commissions every time. It's one flat fee. And we do better as the client does better. And so, we started Independent Solutions with one theme in mind, and that is independence. We've been very blessed in that, as we built out that chassis, we have chartered financial analysts, Paul Meeks, John Thur. Paul is a regular on CNBC, literally on Squawk Box on a weekly basis, managed $9 billion for Merrill Lynch in the 90s. He was actually the largest manager in the world at one point. And, he's on our investment committee. So, when it comes to financial planning, and there's a big difference between a financial planner and a money manager. And, I always joke and say our CFAs like Paul Meeks, we don't let them out of the office. They're in front of the computer all day. That's what they're doing. Now they do they do reach out and help us talk with clients, but their primary role is to look at the stock and bond market. As a financial advisor, and that's what I do more of, and that's my background, I'm looking more at the 50,000-foot view, right? I'm looking at, okay, what are our goals and objectives? What are we trying to do with this money? What kind of income do you need? And there's no way you can do both. You can't sit and stare at the stock and the bond market all day and sit down with clients. And so, we work as a team, and that independent chassis is so important to helping our clients, do the best, whether they're conservative, middle of the road, or they want to be more aggressive.
Well, I try and tell clients and people that as many people as I can find, it's real personal. You see, it's not just automation. I mean, we could literally get Paul Meeks, a guy like him, or a John Thur on the phone to talk to clients. You're just not going to get that, folks, with these other outfits that are bigger, but not necessarily better. You get lost in the mix. So that's
a good point. Let me just add one other thing, Denny, is that we can customize portfolios. And why that's so important is there's different cycles in the market, right? It's one thing if you're transferring an account to us at Dow 18,000. It's another thing if you're transferring an account to us at 30-something thousand. And oftentimes, we want to make little different decisions, right? Clients that came over when the coronavirus had brought the market down and we were at Dow 18,000, we were trying to get fully invested right away, right? Now we may layer in a portfolio because some of the stuff might be a little bit frothy. And that's really important. The same clients might eventually own the same different things, meaning, okay, we're in a balanced type of model. It's just a matter of having that customized ability to be able to say, okay, we're going to ladder some of this stuff in depending on where we are in the market cycle.
Yeah, and you know what, folks? We're talking individual equities, well, not many people are buying public bonds, although John Thur is buying private bonds in the private wealth management group because the kind of services that you all are offering, you typically have to be a much higher net worth person with like a $50 million portfolio, and that's available with independent solutions. I tell folks that's not my thing. I'm not your stock picker. But, a lot of people who say they manage, they just buy low-cost ETFs and put a wrap fee on it. That's not really, in my mind, managing it. You want the people who, you're right, they're watching this 18 hours a day. They're buying equities or bonds that are undervalued, and they're doing their homework. My job as the advisor is to keep the emotional thing in check with clients. Because when a market corrects, and my God, Mike, doesn't it happen so much faster than 10, 20, 15 years ago when we were doing this, when it corrects?
Yeah, we've gone through a few fun, 20-something years in the business. There's been a few fun markets. But let me tell you this. Volatility has always been here. And I think that's the misconception is that, this is something new. I mean, volatility, so if you embrace volatility can be your friend. If you don't panic, you're not making crazy decisions.
Right.
You're making small, minor adjustments along the way. Volatility can be your friend. I'll tell you this, not to talk more politics, but we are in an inflationary environment right now, right?
Indeed, we are.
Watch and see what's going to happen. Biden ran on the platform of he was going to help the poor. I mark my words, and I've been on radio show after radio show saying this: the gap between the rich and the poor will get wider. And one of the questions I've been getting a lot of is, oh my gosh, if we're in an inflationary environment, how do I protect myself? Well, you own a good diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds and maybe some real estate, because that stuff's going to go up, right? So our clients, by the way, I did a review yesterday, balanced investor, over the rolling 12 months, their portfolio was up 20-something%, right?
Jeez, yeah.
And I said, think about this, and I'll just say, Mrs. Smith, think about this, Mrs. Smith. COVID helped us. We were in a balanced portfolio. The market went down. We bought you a lot of stuff cheap. As the market's coming back up, we're rebalancing the other way. We took advantage and benefited from COVID, right? Who got hurt? Well, I would say what I would call the lower middle class, and these are people that don't have investments. The washer and dryer, instead of costing $1,000, is now $2,000, and they really can't afford to put money back into their 401k plan because they're paying off their washer and dryer, right? Where the upper middle class, maybe their million just went to $1.2 million, right? The inflation didn't hurt them. They kept up with it, right? And so the gap between the rich and the poor is going to widen. It's going to continue to widen. because very simply, they're doing things to force those people to stay at home, make economic decisions to stay at home. Welfare's higher, unemployment benefits are higher, right? We have a labor shortage. Prices are going to go up. But those very people they profess to help are the ones that are going to get hurt the hardest. Always, every single time.
Yes, I agree. Definitely inflation hurts the middle and lower class more than the rich. The rich, they're going to continue to get richer. They know how to beat the tax issues that come up with them. And it's always the middle class and the lower class that suffers. You're right. They buy into the rhetoric.
You're going to see a divide, Denny. To mark my words, you'll see a divide between what I would call the lower middle class and the upper middle class. Same street. These people live on the same street. One has a well-diversified portfolio of $500,000, $700,000, $1 million. I'm not saying $100 million, but they've got a good portfolio. It earns a good rate of return. They're keeping up with inflation. And then you've got that other middle-class family that's living paycheck to paycheck, same street, same nice house, same nice car, but they're living paycheck to paycheck, not keeping up with inflation because milk and cookies is going up around them. And so it's certainly, that's why I continue to say, don't make panic moves just because inflation's here. You've got to take advantage of it and make sure you're benefiting from inflation. If you're on the conservative side of things, okay, well, ladder out CDs, ladder out government bonds, right? Make sure that as rates go up, you can take advantage of it and you can replace your lower yielding CD with a better one, right? That's how you try to take advantage of what's going on out there in the market.
So, folks, Independent Solutions, of which, they're a partner of mine. If you'd like to know more about it, give me a call, please, at 561-305-8226. That's 561-305-8226. It doesn't hurt to just talk about things, and you may have management in place now. You may not have management. I can tell you that from my practice, and I know Mike's practice and Peak Brokerage Services, we're not anti-annuities. We're not pro-annuities. We're not anti-pro anything. We believe in balancing things, and having your assets professionally managed is typically the better way to go because you're liquid. You're having someone work for you to deal with market trends and volatility. Because you're right, Mike. People, the hardest thing the last few years is the market's been up. If you take away COVID, the market's been up, so everybody's a genius. They don't want to hear from anybody. They don't want to change. They don't want to rebalance. Hey, the music's playing. I'm dancing. Leave me alone. I don't need you. And then all of a sudden, like for example, when COVID did hit last year, none of my clients panicked and said, we didn't sell, okay? But I met people that's exactly what they did. So they were down 30, 40% and never got back in. So how we earn our living is to stop our clients from being emotional for the markets because it's a recipe for manic depression. I mean,
it's a recipe for failure, really. If you look at the mistakes people made, and it's the same pattern over and over again, right? The only reason the stock market is going down is because people are selling stocks, right? The money doesn't disappear. It's just shifting. It's shifting from stocks to cash, right? Stocks to cash, stocks to cash. And then some of that cash starts to come back off the sidelines. I will say this, a lot of, our listeners here today, I think I'm a conservative type of person. So ultimately a Biden gets in and people go, oh my God, we should sell. I'll say a few things. Number one is don't think for a second the Biden crime family doesn't have all kinds of money in the stock market. Obama's all kinds of money in the stock market. Clinton family, all kinds of money in the stock market, right? So they're watching the stock market. So don't think for a second they're not focused on that. The other thing is publicly traded companies have been giving all kinds of money over the last 12 to 24 months. In states like New York, some of these small businesses shut down and they shut down forever, right? About Florida, there's been some tragedy.
It's terrible, I know.
We had a client in New York that owned multiple nail salons.
Yeah.
And she said they were closed. They've been closed for months and months and months, just finally reopened, right? She said one of her nail salons is in a plaza next to Walmart. Walmart was open. She was forced to close, right? So I want you to think about that, listeners. Walmart, publicly traded company. She's like, do you know how hard it was for me to watch people walk into Walmart? These are my clients that have been with me for years. to go get their own nail stuff, right? So who's making money? Walmart's making money, right? She's not. She's not a publicly traded company. She owns 7 nail salons. That's not big enough to be publicly traded. Walmart made money, though. Walmart made money hand over fist, right? So publicly traded companies, that's why you got to be really careful about looking at the economy versus the stock market. And I will say some of the stuff that Biden's trying to do with increasing tax rates and all that stuff, a lot of it, especially when he starts to push his individual healthcare garbage, that stuff's going to hurt us 20 years from now, right?
I know.
That's what we're going to pay for it. You got to be really careful about it. I'm going to get out of the stock market today. The subprime mortgage market crisis was started under Billy Clinton. He's the one who created the subprime mortgage market. But if you would have got out of the stock market that day, you would have missed years of good returns until it blew up 20 years later under George Bush, who had nothing to do with creating a subprime mortgage market. So a lot of the stuff that they're going to focus on today will blow up 20 years from now, and that's when we got to be careful about it.
Well, Mike, I appreciate it. I always appreciate being at Peak Brokerage with Independent Solutions, and I appreciate having you on the show. So let it be known officially. So we are taping this, so I'm gonna let the record reflect that you have admitted that without the females at Peak Brokerage, we'd be dead meat. So,
that's obvious. Yep.
Maybe they'll take it easy on you next time that they get angry at you. And I appreciate having you on the show, brother. Let me know when you're back in Florida. Let's get together. And Mike Lomas, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break and come back on Today with Denny. All right, we are back on Today with Denny. Listen, Craig, if you're listening, that is his name, right? The boss, Craig?
No, Greg.
Greg, you sound just like Chris Wallace. Every time I hear that commercial, you sure it's not Chris Wallace saying that? That's Greg. All right, we're going to try and get a friend of ours on the phone. I wanted to get her in there, but she claims she's not a morning person. She should have had her coffee by now. So let's see. Her name is Sherry, and Evan's known her probably longer than I.
I did her wedding.
You did her wedding.
Tony's wedding.
Right. So let's see. And she didn't want it. She was scared to get on the show, but I don't know why.
I'm not saying nothing if she picks up. It's all you. I'm not taking the blame for this. It's 3 rings.
You fear her wrath, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow. You must know a side to her that I don't know.
Yeah, she carries a set of drumsticks.
She's not. She's looking. Wait. Let's see. I'm still hopeful.
Your call has.
Nope, she didn't.
She didn't answer.
So, Sherry, what an interesting character. Now, I wanted to get her on it because she is a cancer and COVID survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And Sherry had I think she still has an all-girl band,
mm-hmm.
which, of course, COVID has knocked out in the last year. What a great, interesting, positive character. And maybe we'll get her on in the future. So you're pretty excited about the baseball games coming up, aren't you?
Yeah, the Olympic qualifier games. I had the gentleman on the show that heads that all up, Rick Hatcher, from the stadium in the 8 o'clock hour. And I'm real excited. And one of your teams that you're looking forward to is the Puerto Rico team.
I just remember years ago, I went there with my dad. I don't know why, but there's a huge Puerto Rican population in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Is there something special about Puerto Rico, Port St. Lucie?
No.
Okay, well,
no.
That's certainly my heritage. My great-grandfather was originally from the Canary Islands, and he migrated to Puerto Rico and never left. And there's a large Puerto Rican community in Port St. So years ago, we went to the game, and they kicked the Mets as you-know-what.
Yeah.
And I was there with my dad. My dad and I, we used to have, when the Mets Stadium first came out, we waited in line. We were so excited. I've told you that I was at you two were at the 69 World Series.
Sat right there next to the dugout with my father when that last pitch was thrown, and they won.
It's like surreal that you and I were there, and I was 6 years old, and I thought, wow, this is going to happen all the time.
Yeah.
And when the Mets Stadium came, I waited in line. We had front row seats. But, later on, my dad, his health was starting to fail. We gave up the seats. But so I want to go Monday. So
all right.
You say the game's at 1 o'clock?
Game is at, let me see here, 1 o'clock. Puerto Rico meets the Dominican Republic at Clover Park on the 31st at 1 p.m.
Okay, so they're not playing the Mets.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, the game I saw, the Mets were playing that's what it was. They were playing a national team that was part of Puerto Rico, Dominican
It was
Republic.
probably a prelude to the season, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And they had all these, Putch Rodriguez was playing. Everybody who was Puerto Rican was playing.
Yeah.
And it was an exciting, great game. They got the best of the Mets that day. So when they play, they're really qualifying.
Yeah, these are qualifier
Olympics.
games for the Olympics. Only one of the 8 teams is going to go on to Tokyo to play in the Olympics.
Okay.
Now, rumor has it, and also later on that night on Monday, Nicaragua is let me look here. Dominican, Puerto Rico plays the Dominican, and then 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Later, the USA plays Nicaragua that night at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So, and rumor has it, Pudge Rodriguez is going to be throwing out the first pitch Monday.
Oh, that's awesome. What a great player.
I think, yeah.
What a great player.
Yep. Charles Johnson is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of celebrities in the house.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't talk about it, but my show last Friday was amazing at Terra Firmata. Did the Santana tribute, which
I saw some video.
You didn't go because you were
I had a wedding.
Making money.
I was just like you. Got to make that. Got to, you know what? Got to keep those wheels turning.
I don't listen, man. I don't
it
really
is.
make money with the music.
Yeah.
I don't consider what I make.
That's a hobby
money.
for you.
It really
gives
is.
you great pleasure, which is awesome.
I try and work as much as possible for my musician friends who I love. That we do this together.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I figured out a long time ago that music was not the way I was going to pay my bills.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it in the past, but the show was unbelievable. We probably had about 300 people show up.
Wow.
It was packed. They were dancing. Terra Firmata is just a great place to have a live show.
It's a great venue. It's
really
very
is.
intimate. It's a very intimate setting.
People don't realize, or maybe they do, how great this area is. I mean, they have the Rock River Walk on Sundays that they have a show there. There are different places around the area where you can see live music. There's a lot of great water here. I mean, every time I drive coming to the show, I look at my old high school, Martin County High School. I cannot believe it was 40 years ago.
You're dating yourself.
I am dating. I don't care. What are you going to do? I mean, I have friends and family that wish they were still here,
Yeah.
You have to embrace getting older as a gift, because what's the alternative?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%.
I mean, so I try and take care of myself as best I can. I mean, what you're going to be bummed out because we're now official? Are we middle-aged, or we're senior citizens?
I'm in the
now.
Nifty 60 club. You're not there yet. I'm in the Nifty 60.
So when are you officially considered a senior?
55 and older.
Oh, so then I'm a senior.
Yeah,
That's
you're over 55.
I'm an old
FART.
Okay,
you're a fart.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can say that.
Fart.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
I
trying
say it on
to
my show.
write the words that I can write. Okay, so fart, darn.
You can say the word crap.
Crap? Yeah, I can say crap.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Keep it to a minimal, though.
Greg, if I get in trouble, remember Evan said I could say it. I think he listens to the show, doesn't he?
They listen to all the shows.
All the shows?
They listen to all the shows. They pay attention.
Wow. That's got to be painful sometimes.
Not really.
No?
Well, mine at least.
No, yours is good. You and Bonnie have been doing this how many years?
I've only been with her a year and a half on the station. It's a year and a half. I started January last year, right before COVID hit.
When I was doing the slots, because I thought about doing maybe a Friday evening show, kick out for the weekends. But I kind of like following you and Bonnie. And I don't know, because some people that I'd like to have as guests, they're saying I'm not a morning person. I can't. But they'll probably say that if I have a 5 p.m. Friday show.
How'd you like to get a guest on your show at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get them up at 5 a.m. because they're a celebrity and they're out in California? They don't like me.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they don't like me.
Oh, well, how do you get away with it?
I beg, plead, borrow, and steal, and ask nicely.
They're on your payroll.
Yeah. I take care of them.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like this is a great station. It's been around since the 50s. I read. People always ask, well, how many listeners do you have on this show? And I go, I don't know. How many? What do you think? How many?
There's a lot of people that listen.
There are
a lot of people that listen. A lot of people don't like to call in.
They don't,
but they listen intently at home. They listen on TuneIn. They listen on the internet. They watch it on YouTube. There's so many different avenues for people to listen.
Well, folks, I'd like you to call in if you can remember. I like to talk about different things. Everyone knows I'm a financial planner. They know I'm an entertainer, but I like hearing from all walks of life to make the show interesting. That's why I decided to call it Today with Denny, not Investing with Denny or You Better Listen or I'll Kill You.com. You know, there were a couple of names that came up that I didn't go with.
I mean, you do have a fan club.
I
has
do.
a president. You didn't know that?
No.
Charlie. Charlie's the president of your fan club. Yeah.
Charlie, he's going to call in now just because you said
I set up the bat signal.
I thought he was the president of your fan club.
No. I have somebody else.
Oh, really?
I have.
Charlie's been calling you a lot longer than me, pal.
Well, I have a guy that calls me every single morning, almost every morning, religiously at like 6:30, 6:40 in the morning.
What does he say?
We just talk, just general talk.
Okay.
Super nice guy. He's popped in here a few times.
Yeah.
His name is Jeff. He's a musician. Actually used to own a music store in Port St.
Right?
Lucie. Yeah. Super nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think radio is a good it's a good venue. It's an honest venue. It's transparent that I can tell. At least I try and stay transparent. And, you know, I think we try and entertain and have fun, but we also try and put out the common sense mantra out there because man, the world is just getting so crazy and extreme. That's why I liked Dr. McCoy last week. We were talking about meditation.
She was awesome, by the way.
Yes, very smart lady. She was preaching to the choir when she was saying things. We had so much in common. We both didn't know. We kind of had an idea, but we didn't know. But I think, folks, that you definitely have to wake up every day and be gracious that you did get to do that. I certainly am very grateful for so many things that got, because believe me, I've made some bonehead moves in my lifetime. It's called being younger and a little full of yourself. It happens. And I think, you know, the funny thing is us human beings share the same emotions. The difference is some of us allow certain emotions to consume too much of our life and time.
You got to call real. You have a call real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, we have about a minute and a half. You're on Today with Denny.
Did you just mention my name on this?
Jeff. This is the musician.
This is Denny Arnazzi.
Yes.
Denny, you know me.
I do.
Jeff from Jam Music.
Oh, Jeff, you're kidding me. How are you? I didn't know it was him.
He's like my biggest fan.
He is?
Yeah, honestly.
Jeff,
really
you call him at 6:30 in the morning?
That's my hero. Evan's my hero. I listen to him every morning. Matter of fact, the reason I'm on the phone now is because my back threw out and I've been off of work for a few days. And I still listen to him.
So you call him at 6:30? You get up early?
He's on the way to the golf course every morning.
That's what he does?
Yeah.
I'll play golf with you, buddy.
Hey, you know that. We can do it anytime you want. I just got to get my back into shape. I got L4 and L5 problems.
Oh, that kind of gets into the swing. I'm usually at the gym that early because I find that when I do that, my day tends to be better. You know, I just exercise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, when you exercise and that, it's like getting up. Sometimes I'll play guitar before I leave the house in the morning.
So listen,
I'll
Jeff.
go to the house and I'll be bebopping down the road or something like that. But, you know, it's like, no, it's just, we don't do enough for ourselves in our life, you know?
So, Jeff, I'm getting the hook like in the Gong Show because our time is up. But call next week.
See you later.
Let's catch up with each other, and I'm glad you called in, brother. So, folks, make it a great day. Thanks for tuning in on Today with Denny, and we'll see you next week.